and welcome back to the Sideline Chat podcast. Here we go. It is round 10 of the Betfred Super League, so we're beginning the second third of the campaign already. And it's a mouth-watering clash to start your Friday morning with St. Helens up against the Warrington Wolves. Of course, St. Helens, a whole host of injury concerns for them at the moment, but they will be buoyed by the return of Joe Batchelor after shoulder surgery in Wollongong back in February. As for Daryl Powell, he's hoping to have James Harrison. Oh no, sorry. I'm trying to find who.
Get it right.
I'm reading it. It's and well, of course, he was without Gil Dudson and Joe Philbin, with James Harrison and Joe both signed through injury, so he's hoping for at least one of them to be back. As of course for St. Helens, there's still that whole host of forwards out. Of course, the Saints going down to Hull KR 26-14, whereas Warrington fell to their first loss of the year 13-6 at the hands of the Wigan Warriors.
Well, we want to start off with the Warrington?
Yep,
yeah, might as well. Okay, so obviously just said Warrington went down in their first loss, and they're 8-1 to start the year. I mean, that's still a very, very solid record indeed. But really, all the points mostly come in the first half from both clubs. I mean, Wigan being up 10-6 at the break and only getting a penalty goal on a drop goal to start off the in the second half. So all the action was in the first.
They carried over their game plan, the Warriors, from last week, which was to frustrate good attacking sides. They stuck it to the champions. They basically were saving tries left, right, and centre. This time they were able to shut down Warrington's go forward through the middle, which in turn shut George Williams and Matt Duffy out of the game.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, I knew this game was going to be a close one, but I thought Warrington would have gone on to win this one, considering how good they have been. But I have to say that Warrington and Wigan are two of the informed teams of the competition at the moment.
Wigan are still up there. Even though they've lost Mike Cooper to an ACL for the rest of the year, Jai Field's sideline, they still find a way to win. And I think Harry Smith, he's been called up into England's 40-man squad for the test against France next week.
I did say that.
And I think he's in a bit of a logjam at the moment of who might get it to start as the number 7. And this could prove to be a crucial performance. 52 run meters, 2 tackle breaks, an offload. He kicked a 40-20 at a crucial time.
Always helps.
2 from 3 goals converted and the drop goal. Not sure if he actually did end up forcing a dropout. I think, did he? Or
I'm not 100% sure.
I think his game management was a big reason why the Warriors ended up winning.
Yeah. Look, they did do the drop goal probably as a safe bet in case Warrington did do that. Did get a converted try, but it ultimately wasn't needed in the end. But it's better, and it helps the for and against too, mind you. So,
as for Saints, of course, no Alex Wormsley, no Sione Matautier.
No Joe Batchelor.
No Joe Batchelor for that game against the Robins. No Morgan Knowles due to suspension. They just got rolled, Saints. They started out confidently. I mean, they were forced to play Mark Percival off in the back row for this one.
Which you don't hear very often.
But around the ruck, they just got dominated by the end of it.
It really tested the depth of what St. Helens have got at the moment, isn't it?
It certainly did.
You take 1 or 2 players out and they can still go on to win matches, but this one, they just couldn't do it. Yes, they were locked at 8-8 at the break. So they were within a shot at winning at the halftime break, but Hull KR ended up putting the foot down and ended up going with it. I think their fatigue would have got a bit too much for St. Helens without having their key, like the majority of the starting forward pack would have not been there. Probably did cost them that loss, cost them that win, sorry.
Mikey Lewis stood tall for Hull KR here. It was Ryan Hall that took all the plaudits. It's in the Hull derby. This time it was another man that could be playing for England against France next week. 2 tries, 68 run meters, 4 tackle breaks and a line break. But the goal line defence from St. Helens, and whether it's pass cell offloading for Lewis or setting him up through the grubber, they could not handle what Hull KR were throwing at them at Craven Park.
And that's generally not what St. Helens are like. We all know what St. Helens are like, but you take out, like we have said, take out your solid forward pack, and then it can't do anything.
No, you certainly can't. Warrington have a chance to rectify, avoiding back-to-back losses, or Saints could turn up. Joe Batchelor backs, that solves one problem, but they're still missing a fair few players, especially now that Paul Wellens is saying Sione Matautier, there is no time frame for him.
Oh shit, that's not
And you
good.
wouldn't think there'd be a time frame after that sickening hit on Good Friday.
Or no, that's a very cautious approach. If they say there's no time frame, I'm guessing it'll be like majority of the season. But you never know. You never know.
It's a cautious approach at this point.
Oh yeah, and especially like with a head injury, well, you're gonna have to be. Warrington will be looking to bounce back. So was St. Helens, but with all the St. Helens' outs that they have compared to Warrington, there's a slight difference. But St. Helens will be thinking, well, we can shut down, do what Wigan did, shut down the forwards of Warrington, and then that would keep George Williams and Matt Duffy quiet. We might be within a chance.
Given that Paul Vaughan's also suspended for this one, it really
No
puts all the
surprises?
pressure on Sam Cassiano and Josh Maguire to lead the forward pack with the attack. We mentioned all the outs Saints have. Oh, now Curtis Sirenen's also confirmed to be out as
Oh,
well.
guys, that's putting more and more pressure on.
Let's see. Morgan Knowles continues to miss out through suspension. And, of course, Ignatius Parsi wasn't there either. So there's a lot of outs for St. Helens. Whether they can pull one back, I don't think they can do it this week. I think Warrington rectify last week's loss 1-6. I think it's that tight, but I think Saints, it's another loss for them.
Yeah, I'm going to say St. Helens loses on too. Like you said, no Metalia, no Sirenen, no Knowles. Who else were they missing? Wormsley.
Yep.
That Saints can't win that one, and Warrington will hit their form yet again. I don't think it'll be a small victory. I think Warrington will win this one 13 points to 20. St. Helens
I'm not convinced by either side.
I'm more convinced with Warrington easier than what St. Helens is. Like, if St. Helens were full fit and healthy, and the rate that Warrington been playing, then I'll be really tossing and turning. But this is more heavily favoured in Warrington over St. Helens.
Yeah, I still think it'll be close, but Warrington just managed to scrape on home.
All right.
Now, following on from that, for Saturday fixtures, it'll be the Leeds Leopards once again at home to the Leeds Rhinos. Of course, Leeds demolishing Wakefield Trinity 32-0 at Bellevue, whilst Leeds enjoyed a thumping home win against Hull FC 34-10.
Realistically, do we expect any other result than those?
Not really.
Exactly. I mean, the rate that I've mentioned, Hull FC have been playing absolutely horrible this season.
Ever since they lost to Catalan, they have been on a downward spiral.
Well, they were 18-0 the break down, and they managed to somehow get 10 points on the board, but they were nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Leeds were just too good again.
Leeds were running freely like they haven't been for the last couple of weeks. They've started putting something together. Sure, they beat up on Wakefield. They knocked off the champions and when they did get those wins. Then they bounced back against Huddersfield, and it's like, bang, they just ran in the equivalent of 6 tries against against Hull in that period. The right side in particular, the combination Newman, McDonald, and Blake Austin.
You don't want to say that quickly in a row, McDonald to McDonald.
Well, Harry Newman out there as well, so... Oh, yeah, but you got McDonald, Newman, McDonald, Austin, all on that right edge.
You don't want to say that too quickly 10 times in a row.
Bit of a concern for Rowan Smith, of course. No David Fuzatua. Apparently, the diagnosis for him has gotten worse.
Oh, no.
As they're saying now he could be out for up to 3 months after suffering an ankle injury.
Probably syndesmosis then.
Yeah, that's just
If it's been that long, probably syndesmosis.
since for the last fortnight they were a bit concerned about Fusitua. Now it's basically he could be missing for the next 12 games roughly.
Possibly.
Well, it's not a possibility. It's happened.
Okay, well, there.
But then I think they're a lot more settled now, the Leeds Rhinos. They got Harry Newman back in the side, whether or not he stays in the side.
I hope he does.
Reece Martin back into the centres again. Doing all right at the moment.
Yep.
And you'd have to say.
He's a solid player for him. Like, chuck him centres or on the forwards or back row, wherever he usually plays, and he can perform. And he's a great goal kicker too, sharpshooter.
Yeah, but
he only missed one against Hull.
No Jake Clifford, no Tex Hoy, even with Carlos Tumavave out there. They targeted Davey Litton once again, and the unexperienced man at fullback.
He did score a try.
He did peel one back after letting a couple in.
Yeah, true.
And of course, Ben McNamara for Darnell McIntosh as well. That was really the only bright spots for Hull FC. And that's saying something considering how Wakefield performed at home again.
10-0 down, and up being a 32-0 thrash.
Josh Charnley, 2 tries, 1 try assist, and unfortunately, those are the only stats I can provide for my standout player from the Leopards, because apparently the Super League website can't produce the match report. Like Wakefield can't produce a result.
It's true, though. It's true.
The edges...
Maybe the Super League website is down with an injury from the turf.
No. No, but they look to be free-flowing this time, whether or not the pitch inspection yielded otherwise, but the fact that it didn't have to go to that, again, that is honestly saying a lot. Look, Lachlan Lamb also had a brilliant game as well. They just tore Wakefield's makeshift right side apart, and defensively they just ate up everything Wakefield maybe threw at them within the 3 minutes of footage we actually could see of the game.
True.
I've been saying this, and I know Deaf Riding again, but they're not. We're talking IMG. They're going to meet on Thursday at this point. Like Thursday our time, all representatives of 35 clubs will meet at the John Smith Stadium.
35 clubs?
All levels of the British game.
Okay.
Including West Wales, who are defunct.
Then why include them?
But that's just what it is. All the clubs in the British game are going to meet at the John Smith Stadium to approve or reject the grading proposals put forward by IMG.
Is that for the 2025
season?
Yes.
If voted on, it would come into effect just in time for 2025.
Will give us a year and a bit to understand what the hell is going to happen and how it all works.
So Wakefield, I think, are in danger at this point because of the
you
fact
think they are in danger?
Their results are not stacking up at the moment. So, of course, the grading criteria is based on 5 different pillars that have been highlighted
losses
by the consultation for the 8 grade A Class A licenses and the 4 Class B. And that's 36 clubs, include from Super League, Championship, and the League One. So, of course, performance 25%, and finances 25%. Catchment area, so junior development academy, 10%. Stadium, 15%. So home venue, so MKM, Headingley, Halliwell Jones, Totally Wicked would all rank higher than a Be Well Support or a
Lee Sports Village.
Well, maybe not. Lee Sports Village is actually a nice, tight boutique stadium.
What about Menderhose?
The Jungle probably wouldn't grade well. And Fandom is another big performance
I
area.
hope freaking Wakefield doesn't grade well, even with the upgrades.
But even so, there is dissent amongst the ranks. Of course, the Keighley Cougars are dissenting at this. They're basically saying to their local member, please, the government has to intervene because they're going to kill the sport. So what they're trying to set, they're basically saying to Westminster in London that in order to save the sport, they're trying to kill the sport.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
Keighley is the only one out of 36 clubs that are dissenting at this point. Batley Bulldogs coach Greg Lingard is quoted in here as well from his 4020 magazine column republished on loveofrugbyleague.com. I certainly believe that the proposals have been weighed towards teams from Super League in the top flight already, and yet we have had many years when those same clubs receive between 1.5 and 1.8 million pounds per annum to build their team, brands, facilities, and infrastructure, where teams outside of Super League were unable to field academies, scholarships, and reserve teams, which help develop their own players. So there is another anomaly that skews the field. Just goes on revenue, and he's just like, cites, let's take Bradford, for example, quoting him again. In Super League, they were regularly seeing crowds in excess of 15,000. After being outside it for a number of years, the same team in the same stadium might be lucky to attract 20% of that figure.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Obviously, Super League being a top flight, more people go to it because of more, the top dogs, you could say, of the British Rugby League, but then it just works the way down least. Kind of like an NRL top dogs, and you got like your knock-on effect cup, which you get a decent crowd. Then Jersey Flag, Harold Matts, SG Bond, you get less and less crowds. Kind of the same system.
Honestly, it's only Keighley looking out for their own interest because they're never going to be a Super League club. I don't think they can.
Unless a miracle happens.
I mean, they might have good crowds at a small venue, but the game in England needs to look in a new direction. We've heard IMG talk about London as the future of rugby league, that they need to have a presence in London for the game to not only survive, but I think to start flourishing. I mean, and they're not wrong. Every major sports league anywhere in the world has a presence in the capital city. Yep. We understand it here in the NRL with the Raiders. The NFL understands it. They've got to have the Washington Commanders, even though they play in Maryland.
Yes.
And the Premier League understands it. They've got at least half the teams that are successful. They hail from London, Arsenal, Chelsea, and all that.
Manchester.
No, that's the other end of the
Sorry,
country.
my bad.
Oh.
Sorry.
Ow.
England geography isn't very good.
Oh. I wish I could rewind on that one before you spoke that absolute stupidity.
Sorry, my England geography isn't very
good. We can't. So
you could add it to that.
2023, 2024 is a crucial window. Not just for the team that could probably be back from London, that could be back in Super League, but for the French teams as well, because they've asked for clarity about how France fits into these plans, but it's only for English teams at the moment.
Which is unfortunate.
But considering Catalan and Toulouse are both in Super League and the Championship respectively, you'd think a bit more questions would be asked.
Unless they bring that up.
And Derek Beaumont, I mean, even though he's gone crazy with the Leopards kit for this year, basically because of his jacket,
yeah,
he has been making efforts to really meet the IMG gradings, stadia, fandom by having sellout crowds, which is good. It's good.
Very good to have, yes. Brings revenue into the club.
I think Lee are going to be up for another dogfight against the Leeds Rhinos. Leeds have been very good. They hung in contests and then absolutely obliterated teams. I think this is a middle-of-the-road performance. They are neither Huddersfield nor Hull FC, which is saying something. I think Leeds win this 1-6. It'll be a close fight, but I think if Blake Austin starts running, Leeds start scoring.
I'm going to say the Rhinos win this one, but in a 1-6 margin.
So you say the Leopards get up here?
Leeds.
Oh, yes.
Rhinos.
So we're both in agreement.
Yeah, but 1-6 in the Rhinos' favour.
All right, so both in agreement on that. Of course, Jack Hughes ruled out for the next month and a half, so if the bodies start piling up for Adrian Lamb's side, they're could still there'll be some problems yet, including still with no Ben Nakubawai on the sidelines as well for a few weeks more, all due to a knee injury. Shifting gears, here's for the second Sky Sports game. Castleford at the Jungle against Hull KR. Of course, the Tigers went down to Salford at 14 points to 6 in a lackluster affair.
To be honest, well, Castleford was somewhat still in at the break.
Apart from a Kenny
6-6
Edwards
at half time.
offload, there was nothing else Castleford could really challenge
No.
Salford with. And
I'm
Salford didn't look
surprised-
convincing
I was
either.
going to say, I'm surprised Salford didn't get many more points on the board, but yeah, they didn't look very convincing either.
Neither side looked convincing, but I think they still put on a spectacular try, you would have to say. Callum Watkins with the offload that put Briley down away on the sideline before finding Brodie Croft back through the centre of the field.
Yep. That's the footy that Salford have been used to seeing last season.
And sure enough, Ryan Briley picks up my 3 points for the standout player this round, 105 run meters, most of them on that line break. A 1 try assist and 5 tackle breaks, whilst the skipper Callum Watkins also gets an honourable mention with 2 votes, 125 running meters, 4 tackle breaks, 3 offloads, and a mountain of 35 tackles from the second row.
Very nice effort there.
Brodie Croft got hooked from the field late in the piece. Any concerns, do you think?
I don't know. It does seem to be a bit of a worry about why he got hooked, though. Is it performance-based thing? Is it because he might have a bit of a niggling injury that they want to make sure it doesn't get worse? Or is it just because they can?
I don't know. It's probably either case. Paul Rowley's somewhat mentioned illness, actually.
Oh.
That the fact he actually played was probably a miracle. The
There
fact
you go.
that he was battling illness.
So that's probably why they pulled him then. Thought he wouldn't get worse and he'd be right for this match.
This is
Whatever
what
we've got.
post-match she sort of mentioned. They hadn't seen him all week leading up into that game.
So his match fitness would have been 100%.
He basically said that was the first he stepped up last week, pumped full of antibiotics, and he thought he'd treat him well and give him a 3-minute rest. So,
Interesting.
all right, didn't know that. I don't really get the press conferences, but shit, yeah, Brodie Croft still manages to score a very crucial try early for Salford.
Yeah. I'm surprised he played, to be quite honest with you. You'd think you'd be running rest
Well,
of that.
Hodgson was ruled out because he was ill as well. He's back in the lineup for the Eels.
Yeah. But, like, you want to have a rest up so your body can actually recover. Then you'll be back to full health for the next week.
Yeah,
But, hey, that shows that Brodie Croft is a team player.
yeah,
Even if he's not well,
all
he'll
foolish.
still... Huh?
All foolish.
Mm.
Ash Hanley for Leeds, he's a standout. I think I might have mentioned it, but I'll mention it again anyway.
I don't think he did, actually.
Well, there you go. Leeds standout Ash Hanley, 2 tries, 158 running meters, 8 tackle breaks, 1 line break, 2 offload. It's for him as well as the Salford mentions. Look, Castleford,
no contest.
implosion. Salford haven't looked... running into Hull KR. The Robins are playing with a lot of confidence at the moment. Willie Peters really capitalising on what Tony Smith started. 3rd on the table. They've actually won the last 4 games after their last loss. 6 wins, 3 losses to start under Willie Peters. And they've got, at the moment, they have got the 3rd... say top 5 or 6 best defensive sides at the moment.
Very good. They are coming on quite nicely, Hull KR. They did beat Hull FC, although that was really no contest. Beating St. Helens was a bit of a surprise, confident booster for them.
Yeah, top 6 defensive side Hull KR are, and they're certainly amongst the top 5 attacking sides at the moment.
Like I said, they beat their crosstown rivals, but that was no contest. St. Helens was a surprise victory.
A 13-20 win for Hull KR and a very profitable win away from home for Willie Peters.
Yeah.
As for Salford, they'll be at home to the Catalan Drac Dragons after they went down
where's
to
our
the
margins?
Huddersfield Giants.
What was our margin?
26-14.
No,
14-6.
for your Custard Hull KO prediction.
I said 13-20.
Oh, well, I didn't get to say mine, sorry. Yeah, 13-20 Hull KR.
As for Salford, they'll be back at home again, this time up against the Catalan Dragons. Sort of a seesawing affair. They looked good early, but then Huddersfield just turned it on in the second half.
They certainly did. That game could have gone either way, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, Huddersfield just had the better edge.
Yeah, one of the crucial moments, Tui Lola here. 77 run meters, 2 try assists, 6 tackle breaks and an offload. But the trap and scrap from the Sam Tompkins kick, which led to putting Will Price away upfield, they just didn't look back. Of course, Chris McQueen got on the board. I think he got on the board. Kevin Nagama picked up a try as well. Their second half performance and just put the Catalan resistance to bed.
Yeah, they certainly did. Don't know what got into Catalans though. I thought it would have been a lot more competitive throughout the entire match, but
10-8 at half time. It was a close contest, but at the end of it, and not to mention the Dragons' right side was very iffy very early with Sam Halsall bagging a double.
that is true.
So their
So a bit
defense
of-
ended up letting them
I was
down.
going to say a bit of defensive work needs to be improved on
Try
for
assist
Catalans.
from Chris McQueen. He didn't run on for a try, but he certainly set Kevin Nagama up. Yeah, but other than that, just a good effort from Ian Watson. Huddersfield are starting to find a bit of rhythm themselves.
Again, the quiet achievers.
Is just the table shaping nicely. Huddersfield, it'll sort of 2 losses, then go win, loss, win. But they've leveled the campaign off. As for Catalan, it's sort of fallen off a little bit. 2 wins for the last 5. I've still positive win record at the moment, 6-3. But I think Salford are starting to put some consistency together.
About bloody time.
But at this point, so I think Salford 7-12 winners at home over Catalan. I just think they're in the fight. They scrap for a win, but
Look, I was going to say Dragons. I was going to say the Red Devils to win this one, but I'm actually going to flip over and say Catalan win this
so
one.
you say the French side actually wins.
Yeah, I just don't. Again, I still don't know Salford this year. I still just don't know where thereabouts they're sitting in that. But yeah, Catalans win this one 7-12.
So you think the Dragons bounce back from on the second half collapse against Huddersfield to beat Salford?
I think so, but I could be wrong.
Well, I'm going the other way. I think the home side, if Crops, as I think he will be, he'll have a better week. He's rest, so he's fresh and feeling a lot healthier than what he has been. Then I think Salford cruise home with a win. Second to last game, Hull FC back at the MKM Stadium against the Huddersfield Giants.
No contest.
Huddersfield, even though they'll be without Ollie Russell long term, as Ian Watson's just recently he confirmed in a setback 2 months with a torn hamstring for Ollie Russell, which
Ouch.
not too bad considering Jake Connors immediately he's starting in the halves alongside who was he last starting with?
We come off the bench.
Oh, Lola here
Yeah.
in the halves with Will Price at fullback. Yeah, Huddersfield bounced back for a win here as well.
Well, against Hull FC, have been absolutely dreadful.
7-12. I think the Giants will do enough to beat the Black and Whites.
7-12. You're pretty confident that you playing Hull FC will play all right.
No, I just don't think Huddersfield are particularly convincing at the moment, but I think they'll do enough to bounce back for a win.
Mate, the rate that Huddersfield are compared to what Hull FC are. Hull FC have been playing shit all season long. Huddersfield 21 plus.
No. Hull FC started fine until it died off. Wakefield's just died off. They didn't even come back from last year, Wakefield.
True. Huddersfield 21 plus. It's going to be a very convincing victory for Huddersfield Giants.
And finally,
this one is going to be
speaking of Wakefield, they have to travel once again to the DW Stadium
again
to play the Wigan Warriors.
Again, no contest
Wigan
whatsoever.
21 plus, even without Brad Singleton. and who has been sent for scat, and after picking up an injury against
It's
Warrington.
it's pretty much like what, second versus last?
Quote
me if I'm wrong.
It's pretty much second versus dead stone la. So they're expecting Singleton to go for scans on his knee. Hopefully everything's all right with him. But Matty Pete said about Mike Cooper, he's facing 9 months, possibly 12.
Yeah, look, I'm going to definitely say Wigan win this one 21 plus. I wouldn't be surprised if Wigan crack 60
Again.
Maybe even 70. I'm going to say at least 60 points. At least 60 points there for Wigan.
Controversial? I don't think Wakefield score a single try again.
No, that's what I mean. At least 60, which means Wakefield get absolutely no points on the board again. And will just make the goal points against more dreadful than what it already is.
And just quickly to wrap things up after we bury Wakefield to 0-10, England under Sean Wayne has announced a 40-man squad ahead of their international or test match against France. This is the entire 40-man squad
Is
at
it
this point.
played in England?
Yeah, at Warrington against France again. But this is the whole squad on Abdul, Ackers, Ashton, Clark, Curry, Davies, Dupree, Dodd, Farrell, Gannon, Hanley, Harrison, Havard, Hill, Holroyd, Johnston, Toby King, Knowles, Lees, Lewis, Litton, Lomax, Makinson, Marshall, McMeekan, Newman, Nicholson, Aletsky, Pierce-Paul, Percival, Price, Harry Smith, Smithies, Fewlers, Danny Walker, Walmsley, Jake Wardle, Wellesby, Williams, and Oliver Wilson.
Can I just say half of the freaking Super League?
Well, the majority of them are either from Huddersfield, Saints, Wigan, or Warrington.
They're pretty much
with the exceptions of Aletsky, Hanley, and Newman from Leeds.
And Ackers.
From Salford, yeah.
So, pretty much the informed teams of the competition.
Well, I think out of that, you could probably think George Williams at 6. A three-way battle between Harry Smith, Jordan Abdul, maybe Lewis Dodd for the number 7. I don't think Johnny Lomax gets included.
Oh, I don't think so either. I don't think Lewis Dodd will get the head start on Abdul and...
Liam Farrell gets the England captaincy for my liking.
Yes.
Tom Johnston gets picked.
On the wing, yes.
Yep, he's been in very good form as Tom Johnston. But, 2 from Salford. Warrington, I think, will have a very strong showing alongside Wigan. Keeping in mind, this is without any of the NRL stars. So that's Bateman, Thompson, Whitehead, Burgess, Young, Farnworth.
Radley.
Radley. No Sam Tompkins because he's retiring at the end of the year. And that's pretty much it.
How long has that news been out for?
Tompkins?
Yeah.
He's been back.
No, but retiring.
It was only announced a few weeks back. I think
my...
round 4, he went on Sky Sports and announced he was retiring.
Oh, I must have missed that.
But yeah, this is a squad he's looking at Sean Wayne for 2025 and beyond. So Wellesby, I think he will get picked. Tommy Makinson maybe gets picked. Forwards, couple of questions, but I think it's pretty bright looking future for England.
It'll be still 10 interchanges?
8.
8, yeah.
So that's the look of the side. I'd leave us in the comment section.
No France side?
Oh, France is named as well.
We're going to go through them as well. You did England, you might as well do France.
Yeah, all right. I'll see if I can bring it up very, very quickly because I think we're starting to run out a little bit of time. I'm right here. What do you make of that squad overall with the lion's share of Warrington, and Saints and Huddersfield players getting picked?
Like I said,
and Leeds players.
Well, Leeds are in a little bit of form at the moment, but compared to St. Helens, who are somewhat in form, not as in form as they probably would have liked, but Huddersfield and Warrington are pretty much informed teams at the moment, so there's no surprises that he's gone. Sean Wayne's gone for most of those players. There are a few surprises in there, like from other clubs, but There are pretty good options there, and you can start to pick about who's going in starting 13, like your George Williams and all that.
As for France, Laurent Fressignou has named a 30-man squad. They'll get trimmed down to 20 before the first test against England, and the only test next Monday or thereabouts. Belmas, Bousquet, Kade, Taiki Chen, Kozak, Da Costa, Desaria, Franco, Garcia, Goudemont, Jouffre, Julien, Joussom, Laguerre, Langy, Pierre-Jean Limin, Macron, Marion, Morgue, Navarrete, Pellissier, Pezet, Romano, Rouge, Sangare, Skimon, Segea, Stefani, Tisson, and Zenon.
Well, to check the whole Catalan side in
Well,
there.
it's practically the large part. It is half the Catalan Dragons French
So
contingent.
you better hope they don't get injured, otherwise they won't be able to play to round 11.
Other than that, the second biggest representation, of course, from Toulouse Olympique. So I'm thinking a very good centre combination between Mathieu Laguerre and Mathieu Joussom. Mathieu Moore, definitely the future of France.
Would you chuck him at full
Uh,
back or in
It depends
halves?
what Fressignou goes. I'm not very confident to name either an England or a France predicted lineup at this point because they can change rapidly. We might do it before next week if we have more information, but that's all the time we have for this week. If you enjoyed this part or the NRL part that followed on the day before, make sure you leave us a like, hit that subscribe button, click the bell to allow for notifications so you never miss a week of rugby league. If you want to predict the side down below, just chuck it in the comments section and we'll give it a react. And don't forget to give us a follow on social media, Facebook, Instagram at Sideline Chat, Twitter is Sideline Chat RL, hashtag SideChatYT. Take a moment over this Anzac long weekend to think about the sacrifices made for us. And we might be back, we might not be back. Just stay up to date. It's across the socials. And we'll look forward to the England versus France test match. So, along with Mark Henry, I'm Con Marcellus, and you have been listening to the Sideline Chat. We'll see you soon.
See ya, folks.